Hello people of the internet and welcome back to another tutorial. I'm CEO for SealTheProducer.com and the Producers Blog, and in today's video we're talking about 808 slides. Eight-weight slides is something that a lot of people have been requesting, so I wanted to get it off my chest and get you the information that you need. So for the most part, most of the stuff that I'm going to talk about you can do in most DAWs, but obviously you're going to have to figure out your own way to do it in your DAW, be it Live, FL Studio or whatever. I'm using Logic, so for the Logic guys this will be great, but you can use the same concepts in all other DAWs. So let's get straight to it. It's really simple. In my opinion, you can do it in two ways. One will be to actually play your keyboard controller, if you have a keyboard, and use the pitch wheel that most keyboards have, and do the slides that way. The other way would be to actually program the slides, write the automation itself like I do. For the most part, I usually write the automation myself because I can be much more precise this way. Although I will sometimes play the slides if there's, let's say, a slide that I really want to do and it's really complex or whatever. I'll try to play it myself, but for the most part, I'll write it. I'll write the automation. So it basically goes like this. I get a sample of whatever 808 I want. In this case, I have this 808 here. Actually, let me just show you the patch. It's really simple. It's just an 808, just a little bit less attack because we've got the big kick that's happening right here, and we don't want too much attack from the 808 conflicting with the kick drum. Okay, so I have this patch right here. It's not a patch, it's just a sample in Logic Sampler. It is the EXS24. So no attack, I mean very slow attack, a little bit of release tail just so it doesn't stop abruptly, as you can tell right here. Whoops. It stops, but it doesn't clip. It doesn't click at the end of the note. Let's play it like this so you can hear it. You can hear it does bonk, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-bonk, and we don't want that, so we just want it to be really smooth. So just give it a bit of release. And no more clicking. So most synthesizers have a pitch control, a pitch wheel control, and it's the same control that you use when you play the pitch wheel on the keyboard, on your keyboard controller. So in my case, in this case of the EX24, is right here. It's this pitch thing right here, and it goes in numbers, it goes in semitones. So it's basically the maximum pitch that it will reach, either going up or down, so in semitones of course. So in this case obviously it's doing an octave because it's 12 semitones, so it's going down by an octave. And I usually like to use octaves because I can be sure that it will still be in tune with the song once I reach the lower note or the higher note, and it will still sound good. And I also like the range. I also like that it slides down by a lot, because if I were to put, say, 3 semitones or something, it's probably not gonna be in pitch with the song. But who cares? Just let's listen to how much it actually slides down or up, down. So there's it's not really nice and aggressive. So let's go 12 semitones. and that gives us that very characteristic sound of trap music, that boo type of sound, and I love that. So as you can see right here, when I write the automation, I tend to do it this way. As you can see, it's sort of instead of stopping it right before the next note like this, because it would sort of jump back up too abruptly. And I don't necessarily like that. I like that it has to slide up, back up a little bit before the next note. It sort of gives you even more of that bow type of thing. Bow, and I love that. So that's one of the tricks that I like to use a lot. I usually do it like if I'm doing a quarter note slide, I'll just raise it back up on the last 16 note, or like in this case, let's say I'll do 2 16 notes going down and 1 and 2 going up. So they both sound a little bit different. And I like to do them with higher notes, because the lower you go, if you do a really low note, there won't be any tone to it. So it's just a brrr, and we don't want that. We want to hear the note properly. And we can even go even more extreme. But in this case, I liked it at this octave right here. So that's for the programming part. As I said, not much happening. You put a sample in your sampler, you write the automation, you play the notes, obviously, you write the automation, and you just sort of you write the automation in time with the music, obviously, like in this case, and you just find the notes that sound the best. Now, in Logic, for example, if I were to do it from scratch, or let's say, like in this case, I have no automation on this region right here. Let's say I just recorded this region right here, and it's just a really simple region doing the 808. Okay, so by default, when you open the piano roll, the note velocity control comes up, the window comes up. So you just have to switch it to pitch bend, and that will enable you to write the automation to the pitch bend. So let's say I want to slide on this note right here. Let me find it. It's in the 16 note right here. Here we go. This will be a really bad slide, but you get the point. So that's it pretty much. So obviously it doesn't make any sense in the context of the song, because we don't really need it there, but you get the point. So the last thing would be when to use 808 slides. Now, I actually have 2 different types of slides here. One is the one in the context of the actual bass line, let's say, and the other one is just a transition type of slide. And again, very similar thing to the other one, just doing this. Actually, we don't really need that to do that. That can be like this. It's just a transition between the 2 sections. So this section comes from another pattern. So I just needed something to connect the 2 sections, and I utilized that slide, that 808 slide, to connect the 2. Now, the 808 slide works really well when there's some distortion, and this goes for any type of 808 slide. In this case, I used a really high octave. That's the note right there. Obviously, it would sound like this. A normal distorted 808 will sound like this, but I use this octave right here, and you just pitch it down by those same 12 semitones, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, correct. And you add a bit of distortion, like in this case, and same with the other 808 slide, like so. And that's pretty much it. And at that point, you just have to be creative with it. Now, transitions are great. You can go down and up. Hold on. Obviously, it doesn't fit what I was trying to achieve here, but you can do that. Of course, you can even do that on the bass line itself. But it doesn't fit this the context of this beat right here. But the thing is, you have to find the right places to place the 808 slides, because you can't just place them wherever. Because if you have something that is really harmonically complex, or that has a lot of bass notes, like a piano or something, and you have this massive low 808 slide that is happening in a very complex harmonic passage, it'll just make a mess out of the bass line and bass content. So you really have to be specific as to where you place those 808s, and I like to place them where there's not much happening. Like in this case, there's a pause right here, there's a rest right here in the sample. And yeah, there's a rest in the sample right here. As you can see, the slide starts right here at 33.4, and the sample stops right before that, and there's a bit of a gap, and then there's a bit more sample. But the thing is, the sample is actually playing higher notes, so it doesn't compete with the lower octave 808 slide, so that's no problem, that's no issue. The same thing is happening here and so forth. So same thing with this slide right here. So again, you just have to find the right space for it, for them, but you can definitely be creative and go crazy and do mad stuff, like, say, I'm just gonna do a weird pattern, like okay, it goes down here and it then goes up here. Oops. Yeah, it goes like this, and it does something crazy like this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That sort of thing, or you can go crazy like this. He can do a lot of crazy stuff, and it all comes down to creativity at that point. So yeah, that's it. Okay, people, so that's all we got time for today. Make sure to like and subscribe. Drop a comment below if you'd like to know something more about 808 slides, about 808s, about distortion, about whatever. Make sure to let me know what you'd like to see in the next videos. And make sure to visit cityproducer.com/theproducersblog for more audio and production goodness. And while you're there, there's a sign-up form on the right or at the bottom if you're on mobile. Sign up to that and download my free ebook, The 5 Mixing Techniques You Should Be Using Right Now. It's awesome, it'll change your life, you'll love it. So, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.